We're gonna fight crime in this county head on.
Hundreds arrested during Easter in Mombasa as security chiefs vow that the swoops will continue.
Minister wa usalama angefutwa kazi leo.
Ya transport hiyo imeanza kuweka mikakati yake, inakuja sawa sawa.
And 1 year in office, the public ranks the Jubilee cabinet.
Drunk drivers, be warned. There are tougher rules ahead.
We knew that whichever decision we came up with will be attacked.
50+1, the second and last part of KTN's expose on the 2013 general election.
This is KTN Prime with Yvonne Okwara and Wilson Buru.
Very good evening to you and welcome to the most comprehensive bulletin in the country. This is certainly KTN Prime.
But thank you for joining us on this 21st day of April 2014. And tonight, the Inside Story continues. In part 2 of our year-long investigation, we take a closer scrutiny of the manual forms that the IEBC finally used to compute the results of the hotly contested election after the collapse of the electronic transmission system. In our investigations, we managed to gather printouts of Forms 34 and 36 from all polling stations and constituencies in Kenya.
And they do have a telling story of numerous flaws that leave countless questions unanswered about the basis upon which the IEBC made the final announcement. In this second and final part of our investigation, we also put a spotlight on the 14-day period for the filing and determination of a presidential petition and the intrigues that came with that.
That's right. And from Ghana, we will have valuable lessons that could take Kenya to a better place in 2017. Here now is a preview of part 2 of 50+1 with John Allen Namu.
We now have printouts of Form 34s from across constituencies in Kenya.
In Thika Town, our tally from all the Form 34s shows that Uhuru Kenyatta garnered 54,331 votes, while Raila Odinga garnered 11,207 votes. In the Form 36 for this constituency, announced as the final result of the election, Uhuru Kenyatta had 71,358 votes, 17,021 votes more than he had as compared to our count of the results as noted in the Form 34s for this constituency. Raila's final tally had also grown by 5,182 votes.
Change is made to the form without an authorizing signature from the presiding officer. You had forms where votes cast were greater than the number of registered voters for that polling station.
And those are normal challenges of any exercise that is carried out by human beings.
Obviously, if the equivalent of the 16A form is missing, that is a matter for concern.
Well, that is the name of the game. That is the name of the game. If you don't protect the integrity of the vote at the polling station, the whole election base falls out.
600 people were arrested in Mombasa over the long Easter weekend as police beefed up security in that county. This comes as Mombasa County Police Commander Robert Kitur and the Mombasa County Commissioner Nelson Marwa say they are monitoring a Muslim cleric alleged to be inciting youths in Mombasa. The two county security bosses spoke as the head of the Catholic Church, John Cardinal Njue, urged Kenyans to be courageous amid the security challenges facing the country. Rita Tinina reports.
It was a busy Easter weekend for police in Mombasa as they mounted security swoops in various parts of the county aimed at cracking down on criminals and those in the country illegally. By Monday morning, 600 people had been arrested. After undergoing scrutiny, 128 were released. 472 will be arraigned in court on Tuesday on various charges. During the operation, police recovered a firearm from 2 suspects who had been stopped at a roadblock.
These people on a motorcycle, they just dropped that theater with 11 rounds of ammunition.
Police say they have their spotlight on a Muslim cleric in the county whom they allege to be involved in incitement.
Don't try the government. You cannot fight a government.
They would not reveal the identity of the cleric, but say he is behind a clique of youths said to be using mosques to hold illegal meetings after prayers.
Wale wanalala kwa misikiti baada ya maombi, tunataka kujua ni nini inaendelea kwa wanafanya nini.
With the Easter festivities having come to a close, police say they will continue with the security operation at the coast.
Ieleweke vizuri, we're gonna fight crime in this county head on.
Police have been conducting security operations in various parts of the country following several terror attacks. The government has come under attack with claims of corruption, human rights abuses, and the targeting of Muslims. An interreligious meeting over security is set to take place this week. The head of the Catholic Church in the country wants Kenyans to remain steadfast in the face of the security challenges.
I'm telling you, take courage. Be not afraid. Even the Lord told us, be not afraid. I am with you always.
In Marsabit, where the county has been battling inter-community conflict, the governor says strides are being made to ensure cohesion and peaceful coexistence among warring communities.
Tumeanza ukurasa mpya ya masikizano, tumeanza ukurasa mpya ya maendeleo, tumeanza ukurasa mpya ya mazungumzo.
Rita Tinina, KTN.
Now, on this day last year, President Uhuru Kenyatta was fine-tuning his list of candidates for appointment into his cabinet. This week will mark 1 year in office for the 18 cabinet secretaries. And while they've had an opportunity to tell Kenyans what they have done so far in their dockets, how do Kenyans themselves grade their performance?
Around this time last year, President Uhuru Kenyatta was busy appointing his cabinet. Every Kenyan can remember the youthful and fresh approach that Uhuru and his deputy took while naming what they termed as the dream team.
James Wenena Masharia.
And during their swearing-in ceremony, the president was clear on the vision ahead.
The people of Kenya want to see positive transformation in their social and economic lives. They are no longer willing to wait. They are no longer willing to listen to excuses. They are no longer willing to listen to a blame game. We must perform.
1 year on, what do Kenyans think about the cabinet secretaries who are ranking high according to the Mwananchi?
Ile ministry ambayo imefanya vizuri kidogo, naweza kusema pengine ni upande wa transport.
Cabinet secretary for finance.
Wizara ni ya barabara yenye mimi najua. Wametuwekea mara mkoyo barabara ya kuenda Kiplombe. Lami tunaona hapo Kapsoya.
Transport amejaribu na anaweza kuongeza kidogo. Kama mashauri wa transport naona anajaribu.
I will give credit to is the Ministry of Lands. At least we've seen some sanity in this sector.
What about the worst performing docket?
Olelenku was somebody who was in the tourism industry. Having been put in that docket, I don't think it fits.
Sana Rachel Mamo anatoka sehemu za kwetu, lakini security tujaona kama ametuletea vizuri katika Kisumu.
Kama minister ya water hakuna kitu amefanya, sababu mara unasikia maji imepotea imekwisha, kwa hivyo hakuna stima.
Usalama umesorota, na kama mimi ningekuwa president wa hii nchi, minister wa usalama angefutwa kazi leo.
Ministry Kenya inasimamia upande ya sports and culture inaweza nikablame kwa sababu kuna uwanja kama Kipchoge Stadium. Unapata hiyo uwanja tangu mwaka 2010 mpaka sasa hizi bado haijamalizika.
Perhaps the most shocking bit is that some of those KTN spoke to could hardly remember the names of at least 5 cabinet secretaries.
Olelengu wa security. Hata siwajua wengine, najua tu huyo.
Hawakuji? Hawakuji? Hawaonekani?
Sasa, in which way am I going to know their names? Na wako Nairobi. Ningeomba hawa, ama waombewe. Waombewe na Uhuru.
As the majority of the cabinet scores poorly in the eyes of Kenyans, 5 cabinet secretaries have traveled to Qatar alongside President Kenyatta, seeking to strengthen their dockets. Foreign affairs, energy, transport, industrialization, and finance will be major topics of discussion between President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Emir of Qatar.
How are you today?
Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. Asha Mwilu, KTN, Nairobi.
Now, tonight on the BQ, it does not elicit a yes or no answer. We want your vote. On BQ, we're asking which cabinet secretary would you give top marks in their year in government? Which cabinet secretary would you give top marks in their first year in government?
They did talk about their achievements. Now it's time for you to decide and weigh in on this one. So please do send us your comments on Twitter at KTN Kenya, at Yvonne Okwara, at Wilson_Mbori. You can also send us your scorecard on our SMS line, which is 22155. Keep them coming and we'll sample them throughout this live newscast.
Now, a lot has been said about the ongoing alcohol operation, which has since been extended beyond the capital city. Over 150 people were arrested during the Easter weekend alone. And now, drivers convicted of drunk driving could attract even stiffer penalties with new proposed amendments to the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2014.
Some people opted to travel to various destinations during the Easter holiday. While the coast has been a traditional favorite destination, this Easter there was a marked reduction in the number of tourists there. Some people preferred destinations like Nakuru, especially with the rugby 10-a-side games held over the weekend. It would be safe to say that a number of those who traveled to Nakuru thought they had evaded at least one thing: the alcohol operation. But they were wrong. The weekend crackdown nabbed 150 people, not only in Nakuru but also in Nairobi and Mombasa. They were suspected of either being drunk and disorderly or driving under the influence of alcohol. But if you think you've had enough of alcohol, there is more to come. Senate Majority Leader Kithure Kindiki is proposing amendments to Section 33 of the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2014. In the amendment, Kindiki wants persons found drunk and disorderly to be fined 10,000 shillings, up from the current 500 shillings. Moreover, persons convicted 3 times in a year for driving under the influence of alcohol will risk having their driving licenses revoked if the proposal is adopted by Parliament. The senator also wants the upper limit of blood alcohol for drunken driving to be reduced to 0.05%, while the upper limit for being drunk and disorderly to be 0.01% of alcohol in the blood. Being the last day of the long Easter weekend, we set out to different parts of the central business district of Nairobi with the subject alcohol to understand its impact and perception. Peter Kamau is a manager in one of Nairobi's popular joints. He says since the inception of Alcoblow, they have recorded a reduction in the number of customers. He says they have consequently been forced to reduce their prices in order to attract more customers.
We used to do like 80 to 100 plates, but nowadays we are doing to 60 to 70 plates.
From your observation here at the bar, people are drinking more responsibly because of Alcoblow.
People are drinking responsibly because they're even complaining dialect. They're saying that, no, I want to take two, then I'll hit the load. So what I believe is the bars in the Mashinana are doing better than the bars in town.
And why is that?
Because you would prefer go take one beer here, take 3-4 beers Parliamentary, then you get to your house.
Members of the public are divergent on views on the proposed amendment.
I think that's a step in the right direction, considering the high number of accidents you have on our roads. So it's important that we don't have drunk drivers within our roads.
People should be given time to reform. At least when you do a mistake, you should be given time. It's not that next time you'll also do it again.
For me, I support it 100% because since they introduced the whole thing,
accidents has really gone down.
Given the introduction of alcohol policies, you'd expect that a number of persons would opt to use taxis in order to avoid being arrested under the influence of alcohol. So I'm here at the Kimathi Street with two taxi operators. I'd like to find out the impact of alcohol on their business. Kwa majina unaitwa nani?
Kwa majina naitwa Simon Waweru Macharia.
Na wewe tutakuitaje?
Naitwa Nicholas Waithaka Mwangi.
So ningependa mniambie hii alcohol imeaffect business yenu kivipi?
Hii alcohol tangu ikuje imetuletea hasara sana. Manake wateja wale tulikuwa tunachukua jioni kama Friday and Saturdays wameogopa sana kuja hapa.
Kuna wale ambao wanakuja kwa sababu wataki kushikwa, wanakuja kutumia taxis.
Kuna ni wachache tukilinganisha na ile namba kwa hapo beleni wale walikuwa wanakuja ni wachache sana.
Na unaonelea hii alcohol kivipi?
Naona imefanya kazi ipungue sana. Kwanza nikiangalia kama siku ya Friday tulikuwa tunafanya kazi sana. Watu walikuwa wengi hata magari mengine inakosa parking hapa.
Well, this bill is likely to attract a lot of attention, not just from the bar owners and the brewers, but also from those who like their drink. Ian Wafula, KTN Prime.
Time to take a short break now, but let's just remind you of our big question tonight. We're asking which cabinet secretary would you give top marks in their first year in office?
And your votes are coming in. So far, there's a few votes for Ambassador Mina Mohammed, who's the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs. We have one here for Anwai Guru, one for Phyllis Kandie. We'll be going through some of these. Of course, Engineer Kamau also rating highly in your tweets this evening. So we'll continue to sample them. Keep them coming at KTN Kenya, at Yvonne Okwara, at Wilson_Mburu.
All right. So let's take a short break now, but don't you go away. We'll have much more after that. Welcome back. You're watching KTN Prime.
One Jeffrey Wekesa Simiyu will forever remember this Easter for one good reason. The Bungoma resident won a brand new motorcycle courtesy of Standard Group's Radio Maisha, which held a roadshow in the town over the weekend. Simiyu wasn't the only one who was happy during the roadshow. Radio Maisha carried many other goodies for their fans in the region.
An excited, expectant crowd waiting patiently. This time, Standard Group's Radio Maisha came to reach out to the fans in Western and North Rift. Western being synonymous with Boda Bodas, Radio Maisha held a one-of-a-kind bicycle race, and the winner was awarded handsomely. This Easter will be one memorable one for Geoffrey Wekesa Simiyu, a 24-year-old Boda Boda bicycle rider who now owns a brand new motorcycle after emerging the winner of the Boda Boda racing competition in Bungoma town. Simiyu bet 34 other contestants, bagging the overall prize that also included goodies from other sponsors of the roadshow.
Saizi nimetoka unlock nimekuja digital. Sasa kwa pikipiki yenyewe. Radio Maisha sisi sana hapo tunasikiza Radio Maisha imekuja ni mgeni lakini nashika sana vipindi yake salamu iko mbele.
Simiyu will now put aside his bicycle and enjoy a quicker and more reliable means to earn a living.
Radio Maisha naona inajali kabisa wananchi wa kawaida. Naishukuru kabisa.
Radio Maisha's head of radio, Tom Japani, assured the people that this is just the beginning of many interactions.
Na waahidi kitu kimoja. Mwezi Mei tunaleta frequency nyingine ambapo ni wiki tatu tu tutapata frequency mpya kutoka Webuye ambayo itakava Western Province yote. Yaani kwa mapana na makubwa. Mtakuwa mnaisikiliza Radio Maisha yani clear kabisa.
Alright, wacha tujue wamefika upande gani wale watu wa boda boda.
It was also a unique opportunity for fans to interact with renowned radio presenters like Emmanuel Mashumbe, James Chanji, popularly known as Manu Emanuela, and Mshamba Zebedayo. Niger Otieno, KTN.
KTN weather forecast in association with Morteam Doom Power Guard.
Well, tonight on the big question, we were not really asking a yes or no answer. We wanted your opinion, or rather your vote, on which cabinet secretary you would give the highest marks in the 1 year they have been in office.
That's right. Let's take a look at some of your tweets. It looks like Engineer Kamau of Transport and Ambassador Amina Mohammed of the Foreign Affairs docket take it. And here's one tweet. My hesitant vote goes to Dr. Wario for his exemplary strides in bringing mechanisms to reduce unemployment among the youth. And of course, there's a host of others. We don't have time to read so many of yours because it's almost time for part 2 of 50+1 by John Allen Namu. And of course, today we'll be taking a look at those intrigues and, forms 34 and 36. We'll be taking a look at that final part of that series.
Don't you dare go anywhere.
Indeed, in hashtags on Twitter, 50+1. Inside Story. Keep your comments coming in. We'd love to engage with you. Already seeing a lot of feedback on that. Thank you for watching our bulletin tonight.
Enjoy the rest of your viewing.